Once upon a time, there was a girl named Nora. And Nora used to hide under her bed as she was waiting for her dad to come and tuck her in before bedtime. One night, she rolled under the bed, and she could hear some funny sounds coming from off in the distance. So she decided to keep rolling, and she rolled and rolled and rolled until she finally came to a stop. And when she stopped, she looked back and saw she had just rolled out from underneath a great big rock. And when she looked up, she found herself in the middle of a jungle. She saw monkeys up in the trees and tigers prowling around in the distance and alligators in the waters nearby. And it wasn't long until one of those tigers off in the distance spotted Nora and started running after her. And she ran away as fast as she could. But then two other tigers started chasing her too. Now Nora knew she'd never be able to outrun these tigers. The only way she was going to survive is if she was able to get back to that rock she came from so she could roll back under it and get back home. But the tigers had been chasing her so far, she didn't even know how to get back. She was lost. Those tigers were getting closer and closer. And right when they were almost about to bite her heels, she saw a vine hanging from one of the trees nearby. She ran and she grabbed that vine and swung way up high into the branches. And she was finally safe, and the tigers couldn't get her. Now, Nora was so relieved to be way up high in the tree and safe from those tigers, but she was still scared about being lost. How was she ever going to get back home if she couldn't find that rock she rolled out from? And then she looked beside her and noticed a little monkey who was jabbering away. And the monkey looked right into Nora's eyes, and then it pointed right behind her. Now, Nora had no idea what he was trying to say, but when she looked where the monkey was pointing, she noticed he was pointing at her footprints down on the ground. That's when Nora realized what the monkey was trying to say. All she needed to do was go and follow her footprints on the ground, and they would take her right back to the rock from where she came. Could it really be that simple? So that's exactly what Nora did. When the coast was clear, she climbed back down that tree and started following those footprints. And they took her all the way back to where she came. And sure enough, there was the rock. And right when she saw the rock, she saw something else out of the corner of her eye. There was a great big bear standing right there. Nora was terrified of bears. So, of course, she started running for that rock. But then the bear started running after Nora was being chased again, and she had to get out of there before it was too late. So she ran up to that rock and dived underneath it and started rolling and rolling and rolling until she rolled right out from under her bed and found herself right in the middle of her bedroom. She looked up and saw her dad standing there. "Nora, where have you been? And why on earth are you covered in leaves and dirt?" Nora told her dad everything, how she was lost in a jungle and got chased by tigers and swung up into a tree and talked to a monkey and then was chased again by a bear. And Dad said, "Really, Nora? You really expect me to believe that you were just wandering through a jungle?" And Nora said, "Dad, really, you have to believe me." And right then, Nora felt something moving around on her back underneath her shirt. She tried to feel what it was, and then something jumped out and sat right on Nora's shoulder. It was the monkey from the top of the tree, the one that told her to follow her footprints. And Nora said, "See, Dad, this is the monkey I told you about." And Nora's dad couldn't believe his eyes. Wow. Well, I don't know where else you would have found a monkey around here, Nora. I guess you really did go to the jungle. Cool. Can you take me there too? I want to see. And so Nora and Dad both rolled under her bed and they found themselves right back in the jungle. And Nora's dad was amazed. He couldn't believe his eyes. And then right then, they both saw a giant creature standing right in front of them. It was the bear! The bear started running right at them, and Nora said, "Quick, Dad! Roll back under the rock and into my room!" So they both did, and they just barely escaped. Dad said, "Wow, that was crazy, Nora. I'm so sorry I didn't believe you, but that looks like a really dangerous place. We probably shouldn't go back there again. Besides, it's bedtime anyway. All right, Nora, you lay down now. Try to get some sleep." And then Nora's dad closed the door, and Nora laid there thinking about everything she had just seen. Later that night, as Nora was laying in bed, having kind of a hard time sleeping, she let her arm hang off the side of the bed, but then she felt something breathing on her hand. She had no idea what this was. She had never felt this before. So she looked over the edge of her bed and peered underneath, and she saw two eyes staring right back at her. Now remember, it had only been a few hours since Nora learned she was able to travel to a whole new world from underneath her bed. What she didn't realize was that the creatures from that world had just discovered they could travel into her room, too. And now that something had discovered a way into Nora's room, her night was about to take an unexpected turn. When Nora looked closer at what was staring back at her from underneath her bed, she was terrified when she realized what it was. It was the Great Big Bear! Oh no! But something about this bear looked different than any of the other scary animals she had seen in the jungle. She looked closer and thought, "It looks like that bear is smiling." And then she felt the great big tongue fly out from under the bed and lick her face. It looked like he was actually friendly. So Nora said, "Come here, bear. Come on, it's okay." And the bear slowly weaseled his way out from under Nora's bed right into her room. And Nora pointed to the beanbag in her room and said, "Do you want to sleep here, bear?" And the bear nodded his head and then laid down right on the beanbag just like Nora told him to. And then Nora and the bear slept all through the night. The next morning, Nora's mom came into the room and saw a huge bear laying in her daughter's room. But then Nora said, No, Mom. I know he looks big and scary, but he's actually really nice." And sure enough, right after Nora said that, the bear smiled at Mom and licked her face. And Mom said, "Ew, okay, well, that's nice, Nora. I guess you can both go downstairs and have some breakfast." So both Nora and the bear went downstairs and started eating. As Nora and her brother Luke and the bear were all downstairs eating breakfast, they started hearing all kinds of crazy noises coming from Nora's room. Luke decided to run up and see where all the noise was coming from. And when he opened Nora's door and saw what it was, he screamed. Nora's room was full of jungle animals who had found the same passageway right into Nora's room. Luke saw tigers, alligators, an elephant, and even a giraffe. They were all stuck in Nora's room. But not for long. Once they saw that Luke had opened the door, they all decided it was time to escape. But that's a story for another day.